Good morning, everyone. You're watching Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Thanks for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the BYD ATTO3 right-hand drive production vehicle here in Sydney, Australia. Many thanks again to BYD Automotive for loaning us this vehicle for the weekend for us to test. I feel very fortunate indeed. This morning, I would like to take you all on a handling test on a fairly winding road here in Sydney. It's essentially Jaecoo Road, which becomes the Commonara Parkway here in the north of Sydney through the leafy suburb of Wahroonga. And I'm going to give this car a test, of course, test its handling ability and see how it handles. It has been raining overnight, so conditions are a little bit slippery. So that should make for a very good test indeed. The other purpose, of course, is to try to run the battery down, because I would like to do a charging video as well later on, either today or tomorrow. And then we'll take you on the M1 motorway just to the north of Sydney, just for a little highway range test at 110 kilometers an hour, just to see whether the range is as they advertise for the BYD ATTO3. We are in the extended range, so they do advertise 420 kilometers of WLTP range, which is fairly close to real world range. When I picked up the car yesterday from the showroom, 100% battery range was 480 kilometers. So slight discrepancy between the advertised range on the website and what the car says. But we'll get the facts today on the highway test. So that beeping noise you see is the forward collision warning. Fairly sensitive. I've heard that a few times already this last 12 hours or so. Something I will note too is that the regen braking is not very strong in this car compared to our Tesla Model 3. Yesterday I had the car pretty close to 100%, so there were a few comments saying that maybe because your battery state of charge was too high, the electrons can't get in, but right now it's 87%, so even in our Tesla Model 3 at this rate, there would be some regen, quite a bit of regen already happening. And it's not that cold this morning, it's 14 degrees Celsius. Around this curve, you can see not that much regen, sort of saying minus 15 kilowatts at the apex. Let's go for a quick acceleration. There was a bit of a slippage this morning in the wet when I tested it off camera. 0 to 100 in 7.3 seconds. But yeah, we'll try to do another acceleration test maybe on the freeway. So I've got it on normal driving, steering, and on high regen setting as well. You can change the regen and the steering conditions here. Let's try it on sport mode, just for a change. Steering should be firmer, and I can immediately feel it that it is. And I've got to say the suspension is not firm. It's comfortable. It's comfortable, and you know, being an SUV, you're a bit higher up, so it does float around a little bit around corners. But all in all, I think your passengers will be pretty happy with the suspension. It's soft enough for them, but not too floaty either. I would say probably actually more comfortable than the Tesla Model Y, the rear-wheel drive that I've tested a couple of times. So this is sport, going around corners in the wet. Try not to speed today, of course. Be on our best behavior. See, even then that regen wasn't too strong down that hill, whereas normally in our Tesla Model 3 it would be grabbing really quickly down a hill. So just got to adjust my driving style just a bit to suit that. Yep, more forward collision warning there. Up this hill, to 60 kilowatts of power up that hill. Let's see if it comes to a stop at this traffic light See, I've let go of the accelerator a long way, and it's not one pedal driving, so it's not going to stop. There is hill hold, just got to press the brake really hard, and then you see that A symbol pop up there. And just a comment about the cabin interior noise. It's fairly well insulated, can't hear much of the road noise at all. The road here on the Common Parkway is in reasonable condition today, not too many potholes. As you can see, I'm going down this hill. It's going to catch up with the car ahead of me, so I actually have to put the brake on. Minus 26 kilowatts just without the brake force. Then up this hill, continues to creep. So, I mean, just subjectively, yes, the regen braking is weaker than other EVs I've driven in the past, even despite it being on high setting. Just something to note for you guys and girls awaiting your BYD ATTO3 deliveries in Australia. Let's put it back onto normal mode, normal steering. Yeah, and immediately it's not as firm now. It doesn't require as much force to turn. So that is very discreet there with the settings for steering. And I know I keep going back to the regen, but that's one benefit of EVs, obviously having the regen. I'm hoping that BYD will fix that or improve the regen with future software updates. That's again another benefit of over-the-air software updates. And I think personally having a stronger regen helps with handling for EVs, because suddenly you don't have to brake as much. You can titrate your foot on the accelerator pedal depending on the curve. That's just my thoughts. Okay, see, so that was a bit of a bumpy section. I just ran over a pothole, or very close to. And again, not much cabin noise coming through. The suspension is nice and soft. So yeah, very comfortable ride for your passengers. Okay, so down this hill, let's see. Okay, there's a bit of regen there, but even so, not a lot, which is fine. Just got to adjust your steering and adjust your driving, knowing that. Of course, you can always use cruise control to set your speed, can't you? If you really want to, keep your speed like that. So 60 kilometers an hour. You should be able to cruise into that traffic light. And then to cancel, we just press the brake like that. All right, well that was the Common Parkway in the north of Sydney handling test. Hope you enjoyed that. Second part of this video today, we'll do a range test as well at 110 kilometers an hour on the M1 Pacific motorway. So I'll catch you in one moment when we get ready for that test. See you soon. All right, everyone, we're just heading on to the M1 motorway to the north of Sydney. We've got the trip computer on, set at 0, and we're going to do a range test now, just to test how accurate the car's advertised range is, both on the website and also on this car's range indicator as well. So what we'll do now is pop it onto cruise, so which is this button here. Okay, and then, whoop, sorry, that's the screen. There you go. On portrait mode, you've got a few different cameras there you can look at. I'll put it back onto landscape. I prefer landscape, I think. Okay, and then we'll set it. Push up. There you go. And let's set it at 110. 110. Let's be good, law-abiding citizens. All right, we've got it on the auto steer as well. So we'll put hands on the wheel, but let's see how accurate it is with lane keeping. So see how it's catching up with the car ahead there, so it's dropping its speed down. I still can't quite work out distance following. I don't know whether... I think that means... Yeah, see, I'm always confused with lane following, distance following the car ahead. Whether more bars means closer or further away. I'm not sure, it's just the way my brain's wired, I just can't quite work it out. Anyway, regardless, we'll put it mid-range. 2 bars. I think that's reasonable for the freeway. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the auto steer on a straight road like this. Just going to put my hands just off the wheel a little bit. Okay, no, it doesn't allow me to do that. I must hold the steering wheel. It still does follow the lane reasonably well. The markings are okay. No, even so, I must hold the wheel. Okay, I'll keep driving for probably another maybe half an hour, and then I'll turn around. Again, like I said, the aim of today is just to test the range and also just to run the battery down a bit before we go for a charging test later on. I'll see you very shortly. Okay, so I've driven so far 60.8 kilometers on the trip computer. The battery state of charge is now 68%. I started off at about 81% in Sydney. So at the halfway mark, I think I'm going to turn off here at Wyong, and then we'll do the return journey back to Sydney for the rest of the test. So yeah, now 67% after doing 61.5 kilometers. So yeah, we'll do a turnaround, and then I'll chat to you again when we reach Sydney to give my thoughts on this drive. See you shortly. Okay, we've got an opportunity now to do an acceleration test, so here we go. Okay, 100 kilometers an hour now. There we go. That was on normal mode, by the way. Okay everyone, welcome back. We're just coming to the end of our range test journey for today. I've driven over 117 kilometers already this morning, traveling mostly at 100 kilometers an hour or thereabouts in differing weather conditions. There's some blue sky at the moment, a little bit overcast, but there were some sections where there was quite heavy rain, and I've got to say I do miss the auto rain sensing wipers that I'm used to in our Model 3 and other cars I've driven. Hopefully future BYD cars will have that rain sensing function. Maybe I've just been sport with the other cars I've driven in the past. Just some commentary on the ride quality. It's a very comfortable ride. Not that much noise comes into the cabin. I think your passengers will find this vehicle very comfortable to ride in. Suspension is good, nice and even. The road quality is okay, it's reasonable. There's a pothole there, so you can feel that for yourself. Not that firm. I've got it on normal mode. I've been driving in normal mode the whole time, so fairly soft and even. In high wind areas, there is some wind noise coming through the glass and through the gaps. Not a big deal, not more than other cars that I've driven. In terms of steering, and I've had it on cruise control, by the way, and also, I don't know what to call this, I guess assist, like a steering assist, where I think it's not, I wouldn't call it autopilot for sure. I've driven, many hours on autopilot on our Tesla Model 3, and that car provides really confident lane centering ability when you're driving on a road trip. So I'm fairly comfortable leaving my hands just like there most of the time. But with this lane assist steering function, it does ping pong a little bit. There were times when the car was starting to veer to the side. I had to take a bit more control. So I certainly wouldn't let go of the wheel at any time if you're driving on a road trip with this function on. Having said that though, there were a couple of times too when big trucks would suddenly do an evasive maneuver and try and get into my lane, and the adaptive cruise control worked really well. It spotted that very, very quickly, was very sensitive, and the car appropriately, you know, slowed down to make sure there was no forward collision. So from that point of view, I was pretty happy. The cruise control works very well indeed. One more thing I do miss also about other cars I've driven is there's no built-in sat-nav at the moment. I don't think there's anything on the horizon, but maybe BYD will add that in future. Having a sat-nav is, I don't know, I personally quite like it. It's helpful to see where you're at in your journey. I think your passengers would enjoy that as well. So I think you could probably hook up your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto eventually when it comes to Australia. So that might be something you could do, but there's no built-in in-house sat-nav for the BYD ATTO3. Okay, so we're just coming to the end of our journey now. The freeway is ending. Like I said, I've been driving mostly at 100 kilometers an hour, 123.5 kilometers. Battery state of charge is now 48%, so I'll drop it down to 80 now. So that ends our highway test. We did start with 81% state of charge, so we'll do the maths on that. So finally, again, repeating 123.9, let's say 124 kilometers of driving, and we've done 81 minus 48, so 33% worth of battery charge today. All right, everyone, as I turn off at the Wahroonga off-ramp off the M1 motorway, that's it for our handling and range test today. I hope you enjoyed that video. Many thanks once again to BYD Automotive here in Australia for loaning me this BYD ATTO3 right-hand drive production car here in Sydney, Australia for the weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll bring you some more content from the remainder of the weekend as well. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and until the next Ludicrous Feed video, happy charging. And as you can see, I have put the second row seats down flat, and the floor is flat from the boot all the way to the front seats. There's a slight incline up. It's not quite flat on the second row there, but I think for all intents and purposes close enough for flat pack furniture and the like from hardware stores.